Hello, my name is Doug Leisure, and I wanted to record this video today to show you the steps of entering donations in my donation software. So I am presuming that you've already done the installation. If not, take a look at the videos I created. I have one for installations on a Windows PC and another one for installation on a Macintosh. So this is not the installation part. This is after you've done the installation and you're ready to do your first donation. I just wanted to walk through the steps of doing the donation, show you just how simple and easy that is. When I'm done with that, then we'll take a look at some optional things related to donations, some more of the advanced things. But let's go ahead and walk our way through it. So when you first open my donation software, and you would be opening the main or the master Excel file, the one that I sent you initially, where you put your donors and your parameters. When you first open it, you should see then a prompt like this one here that is asking for the date of the donation. And so let's presume that we're doing a donation on June 1st, 2025. Now when this little prompt opens up, the default date will be whatever today's date is. So each time you launch it, the date that pops up will be whatever today's date is. If that's not the donation date of your donations, not a problem. Just change it to the appropriate donation date, and then click OK, and it drops it up here. And if that prompt doesn't come up, that would suggest to me that the installation hasn't been done properly, that the software is not running correctly. So get in touch with me, and I'll work with you to make sure it's working, everything's working correctly. Also wanted to let you know that later on, even after you have completed a donation, if you wanted to go on and do another one, that donation date is all it's really doing for you is entering the date here in cell B1 on the entry tab. So just the idea that you can enter it manually. So just kind of showing that concept, that prompt is all it's doing is just putting the date here, so it can be done manually, just so you know. Okay, again, I said that the installation, I'm presuming installation is already done, so that means we have our list of donors in here, and we have all of the different parameters filled in. So, the church name and address and all the different things, the different parameters that customize it to make it work the way you want to. So again, presuming all of that's done, so what we're doing is our first donation. Okay, so we've whatever methodology you use for collecting your donations, we've done that, and now we're ready to just simply enter the donations we have. So at our church, for instance, we people put their money or their checks in an envelope and give those to us, and that's what we use to record from that. You might have some other methodologies that you use, but let's just walk our way through a couple of different things. So grab the first envelope, and we see that it was actually Natalie Stevenson is the one who donated. So Natalie's donor number, okay, again, we did the list of donors already, assigned numbers and their names and other information. Okay, so Natalie's donor number is donor number 2. So we enter the donor number here in this column, confirm that Natalie's name pops up here, and Natalie gave us $100 in cash. And Natalie wanted that to be split between the general fund and the missions. So we just enter those amounts, and then we go on to the next person. Okay, so the next person is Eliana McKenzie, and she gave us a check. So let's first of all put in her donor number, and I did want to let you know that if you If you don't know her number, you could go to the donors tab. We at our church, we print out the list of all the donors and the numbers, and literally tape it to our wall so we can see that as we're recording things. But also, I've given you in my menu, the donation software menu, I've given you an option to look up the donor by name. So I can just start typing Eliana's uh, name, so just E-L, and even before I did that, as I'm typing, it's giving me a list. That list is shrinking as I type more characters, but ultimately just need to find her on the list, select her, and click OK, and that will drop in her donor number. But we're using the lookup donor by name feature. Okay, so donor number 3 is Eliana, and she gave us a check for $75. Okay. Within the software, you don't have to do this, but some churches and religious organizations like to do this, where they are entering for checks, entering the check number. So on her check, we see that it's check number 564, so we enter that. And then she wanted her $75 split across our 3 different categories, donation categories. So that would be 25 to the general, 25 to the missions, and 25 to charity. And some people call that benevolence. So whichever term you use for that particular category. And let's go on to the next one. Okay, the next one is Diana Tran, and she's donor number 1. So we enter that, and we see that confirm that the name is correct there. Interesting thing about Diana is that she gave us a check for $50, but she also gave us cash of $10. So, I just wanted you to do it this way so you can see that the software is happy for you to do both cash and checks in the same donation by that person. So the other thing, before we go beyond this, I just wanted to explain why these things are turning red. Why did her name turn red? And that's because we are trying to assist you and help you as you're going through your donations to make sure that everything is done correctly, that things are balancing as you're moving through. And what I mean by that is just simply, she gave us $10 cash. She gave us $50 in checks. And as we are now determining where she wants to put that, which categories, if we type in some numbers and it doesn't match what we've done, then we are out of balance. Things are not matching up. What came in and what is assigned to the different categories does not match. It's out of balance. And that's what the red means, is just simply, hey, this particular row, this person's donation does not yet balance. So please fix it up. That's all that really means. So, okay, so for Diana, she gave us, her check number was 114, so we can enter that. She wanted 25 to go to general, 25 to missions, but she also put in $10 cash that she wanted to go to a special donation that we're doing. So we have this this music group from the local college that came in to help us with our worship music, and we decided to do a special offering, a collection for them. So Diana put an extra $10 in to cover that. So you would put in the specials column the amount, the $10, and then here you would do the name of the special. So something like music group. Now, if this is something brand new, you have to type it in. If it's something we have used in the past, then we do have this little drop down arrow. So let's do it here. A drop down arrow, and this is a lookup into the previous special offerings that we've done in the past. So you can just select it off the drop down if it's something we've done previously. If not, just type in whatever the new item is for that for the name of that particular special offering. Okay, let's take a look at another one. As we're doing our donations, we have a lot of things that are given by people and they put their name on it and we know who it is. And so we can record that and at the end of the year make a receipt for them. But we also have things that come in where people just simply put loose change or bills in the offering, so there's really no name associated with that. Our anonymous or our loose offering. And so we've assigned donor number 100 for our loose offering. And so that's the cash that came in, and it was $35.25. And all of our loose offering we put into our general fund. Okay, let's go on and do another one. Okay, the next one we're going to look at is Emmy Shaw. Emmy's person number 4, and her donation came in electronically, and that's what this column is for. So cash, checks, this one is for any type of an electronic fund transfer where the money goes from the donor directly into our bank account. So that could be using some of the online things like Tithely. It could be Cash App, Venmo, could be a credit card, it could be direct bank to bank. A lot of different possible ways to do that, but the amount would always be entered under this column here, the EFT amount. Okay, and so in the case of Emmy, she gave $50, and she gave it through Cash App. Okay, again, these things are kind of optional, but I think it makes sense to record it when you know that kind of information, so we know what methodology was used by Emmy to give her donation, and Emmy wanted her entire $50 to go to the general fund, so we'll go ahead and enter that. Okay, let's do another one, and that would be Eliana, donor number 3. She actually gave a second donation on the same day, and same idea as Diana. We're doing this special offering for the music group, so she gave a second offering, $25 in cash, that she wants to go then to our special offering. But again, just highlighting the fact that the software is happy to have you do the same person multiple times on the same day. Not a problem. Okay, so she did $25, and that was to the music group. And let's do one more, and this is something that came in electronically from Dylan Snow. Now, Dylan doesn't really go to our church. He gave, and we really think it probably like a one-time donation from him. He doesn't even live in the same state. So what's interesting about Dylan is we're going to have to basically mail or email the receipt to him at the end of the year. So one of the things is, first of all, is Dylan is not in our list yet because this is the first time he donated. So let's go to the donors list because now we need to add Dylan. So let's add him. Now we could put him as donor number 5, but since we're thinking this is probably a one-time donation, we'll give him a different number, a much higher number, kind of basically getting him out of the list of our normal standard donors. So we'll make him 201 Dylan Snow. If I know his address, I'll enter it. definitely we saw an email address that came in then through the electronic methodology. We're able to validate his email address. Okay, so Dylan Snow at gmail.com. And then when it comes to printing the receipt, we're going to say that we want to email that to him at the end of the year. Okay, so we've added Dylan as a new donor. Now we can come back here and use him or enter his donation information. So person 201, that's the number we just made up, and that was an electronic fund transfer. He donated $100, and it was through the Tithely online donation software, and that $100 was going to our general fund. Okay, this is basically how simple and easy it is to enter the donations. You would just keep, of course, if you have more, you'll just keep working your way down through doing more of this kind of entry. It's just that simple and easy. If we start to run out of room, actually that would be a great problem to have more donations than we usually get. So it's a great problem. But within the software, if I'm running out of room, and that's what these yellow cells is where we do the donation entry. If I'm running out and need more room, not a problem. You can go to the donation software, and this is my menu that I've created within Excel to do all of the steps that are required for the donation software. And so what we're going to do is we're going to click here on Insert Entry Rows, and what this will do is it'll just simply add additional rows so that you have room to enter more donations. So just that easy if you're running out to add more. Okay, let's go down to the next part of it. As you're doing a donation, we put in all the donation information for each person, whether it came in as cash, checks, or EFT, and the categories that they wanted it to be distributed to. And now we have this other step where we now have basically a pile of cash and a stack of checks sitting in front of us. And now what we're going to do at this point is we are going to validate that everything matches. The cash that came in, the checks that came in, it matches what we have sitting in front of us now in total. And we're doing kind of this next level of balancing everything to check and make sure that everything matches. So that's where, as I say, sitting in front of us, we have this pile of cash and this stack of checks. So let's talk about the cash part first. And so what we want to do is we want to count the money, but not like you would, not like at a bank. Like if they have $5 bills, they go 5, 10, 15, 20. They're actually doing the math basically in their head. And what we found is with our volunteer counters, not everybody is really good at that, and that's where mistakes sometimes happen. So we're going to do a slightly different technique, which is actually much simpler, where we're going to count the quantity. How many quarters do you have? How many dimes do you have? And we're going to let Excel, which does a wonderful job at doing the math for us, we're going to let it do the mathematics to take our 90, or how about our 9 dimes, and do the math to say, oh, that's 90 cents. So we'll let Excel do the math. We're just going to count the quantities. So from the cash sitting in front of us, we see that we have 1 quarter, that we have no $1 bills, but we do have 2 $5 bills. We have 4 $10 bills. We have 1 $20 bill, and we have 2 $50 bills. Okay, and again, what we're doing is we're simply counting the quantities of each of our yeah, each of our paper bills or our cash, and then we're letting Excel do the mathematics. And again, as we're entering everything, it is red until things are in balance. So after we enter the quantities, the red should go away, and this amount given should match what we entered in our cash column. Okay, so that's the cash part of it. Let's go on to the next part, and that's the checks that we have. So what we're going to enter is not the check numbers, the check amounts. So as we enter the amounts donated, then it will do the same kind of mathematics and confirm that the sum of all of the checks match what we entered in our check column. Now in our case, for what we did here today, it's pretty simple. We just have a check for $75 and another one for $50. And as soon as we enter that, then the red goes away, meaning everything is in balance. Let's just talk about the entering checks for just a quick second. One of the things that I think is really neat about Excel, and one of the reasons we chose to use this as the tool for doing the donations, is that it has this ability as you're entering it. So if we start here, you use all four columns to enter the check amounts, and when you get to the end, it can automatically jump down to the next row to the first cell in the this area here where we enter the checks. That will work if you use the tab key. So we're just throwing some stuff just so you can kind of see it. So enter the check amount, hit the tab key, it moves to the next cell in the same row. So I'm just hitting the tab key as a way to get to the next one, and when I get to the end, it jumps down to the next row back to the beginning. So it's kind of a neat way to the most efficient way to do that, where it's going to move automatically down to the next cell that you over to the next row, and then down to over to the next column, sorry, and then down to the next row. But it's a nice, quick, easy way to do that. When you're entering the checks, there might be a time when, again, you run out of room and you have more checks than we have space for. And so, same idea. We have within the donation software, there's a menu item here to insert additional check rows. So just click on that, and that'll insert rows and give you more room to add more checks. Okay, let's just simply clean this up by putting the true check amounts we have, the $75 check and the $50 check, and we see that everything, the red goes away, so now we're in balance. One more thing we want to talk about. We did get $150 that came in electronically. So what that means is just simply that money already got transferred over into our bank account. It's sitting there already. Now we need to record those donations so that we have a record of it, and at the end of the year we can produce a receipt for those items. But we don't have anything here to enter. And the reason we're doing it that way is I just wanted to help you to also understand what we're doing here at this part here, this top part of what we're seeing here. Not only does that help us balance everything and make sure everything received matches with what we entered, but this also then becomes our bank deposit information. Okay, so when we go to the bank, we can, we know that we received $295.25, and this is what we're going to deposit in the bank. And we know how many quantities of each bill or coin we received, as well as the checks. This is our bank deposit information. Okay, So it's helpful to recognize what this is also doing for us, making it easy, facilitating the bank deposit. Now, the electronic stuff is going to be part of our overall donation, but it's not part of our bank deposit because this amount is already in there. It got there through the electronic fund transfer, so it's already in there. Then the final thing we do is to go ahead and summarize the donations. Not summarize, yeah, summarize. So it's in total the general fund received $285.25, and the missions $100, charity the 25, and there were $35 for the specials. Now, when we're done with all of this, and we choose, if we choose to print the information, the detailed information about what was donated, before it prints, it's going to run through one little extra step here, where it will take our special offerings, and it will actually display the total by the name of the special. Now, I gave an option here. Yeah, so I have an option here to do that manually, but you don't have to do this, but I just wanted to show you. I'll run it manually so that you can see what it's doing here at the bottom. Okay, so it looked at whatever we gave here on the specials, it listed that, and then it gave us the total amount. So yeah, here we're just seeing it in total, but here we're seeing actually the amount in detail. And what I'll do is, let me just change this to something else. So what this will do, we'll actually have two different special offerings on the same day, and let me just show you what that would look like then. Yeah, so here's what it would look like then right before it prints. $10 went to the music group, and then $25 to VBS, and in total it was $35 for the specials. So that's the idea of the special offering, and how down below our summary we see the detail of which special offering we did and the total that came into each of them. Okay, now for what we're doing today, let's put this back to music group. Okay, and again, this is what it would look like then when it prints. Okay, now that we're done with our donation, the final step we do is to come up here to the donation software menu and say entry is complete. So we're just going to tell the software we're done with all of our donations for this particular week, and let it finalize everything. Let me explain real quickly what that's going to do then. It is going to it's going to print this information right down through there. So this information then basically is the detail of what was donated on this date, by person, by category, also recording whether it came in through cash, check, EFT. If you put any of these additional pieces of information here, like the check number or the type of electronic fund, you can also use this for any generic comments. These will be recorded as well. And this is what we will print on one piece of paper. On a second piece of paper, we're going to print this summary information. So it's both our bank deposit information and our summary here at the bottom. And so this is what will go on a second piece of paper. Okay, at our church, myself, I am the assistant treasurer, so I'm responsible for maintaining all of the donation information. So I am the one who gets a copy of this detail so that I can tuck that away in a filing cabinet. And if ever something happened, I had to go back and recreate some of this information, I have a paper version of it. In our church, our treasurer actually does our deposit, so he gets this information, and he uses a different piece of software for recording donations and for writing out checks to do our different payments. He actually uses QuickBooks for that, and so this is the information he enters into QuickBooks. Okay, so two different pieces of paper that will come out when you print it, and you accomplish all that by saying entry is complete. The other thing it'll do, in addition to printing that, is it's going to take all of this detail information up here above and move it over to the annual tab. The annual tab is really just the history. As we move through time, it becomes the history of our donations over multiple years, and so it's going to store that here in the annual tab. And then from the annual tab, now from that information, whatever goes in here, we can create our monthly reports, and so all the numbers will just aggregate into here by month, by category. So it pulls that data from the annual reports. The other thing we use the annual data for, the history of our donations, is we use that to build receipts. So one receipt for every donor at the end of the year. And again, it's getting the information from the annual tab, populating that on the receipt tab, and then we print that and give to our donors. So it will, when you say entry is complete, it will print the information. It will take this, copy it over to the annual tab, and then come back here and delete everything, and then save it. So it's deleting it so that for next week, when we're ready to do the next donation, everything's cleaned out and ready for us to do the donation. So it'll be empty and ready for the next week's donation, and that all happens on entry is complete. Okay, let's talk about some optional things. So this is within the software, we have the ability to record the donations in a very similar way to what I showed you here. There are some churches and other religious organizations and not-for-profits who get, in addition to cash donations, so cash checks, electronic donations, in addition to that, they receive non-cash items, and the terminology for that is in-kind donations. But what we mean by that in-kind donation, that word means things that were given that are not cash, but they do have a cash value. So an example of that might be we at our church run a soup kitchen, and so we are receiving not only cash to help us out with the soup kitchen, but we're also receiving items that can be used, food that can be used then for the soup kitchen. And so let's take a look at that real quick. So I'm going to go over to the parameters, and I'm going to go ahead and turn on under the donation entry. I'm going to turn on that option. Sorry, it's up at the top. We're going to turn on the option to use in-kind donations. So let's go ahead and say yes, we are allowed to receive in-kind, the non-cash donations. It's one of those pinkish colored parameters. That means we just need to run this menu item here to adjust the tabs. And when it does, it unhides one more column where we can enter in-kind donations. So let's take a look at what that might look like. So let's say that it is our friend Eliana McKenzie. Remember, she's donor number 3. So she also did a donation of cans of soup for our soup kitchen. And so what she gave us. She gave us cans of soup and said, yeah, that has a value of $20. And so we record the value. Now again, we did not receive cash, we received cans of soup, but that those cans of soup have a value to them. And so she tells it's a $20 value, and over here we enter the in-kind, the name of the in-kind donation. So cans of soup. Okay. So I just wanted to show you that's what an in-kind donation would look like. Okay, let's run this. We're going to manually run this list of specials, because I just wanted to show you here down at the bottom, when you are receiving in-kind donations, there's a little bit of extra information that shows up here. So down here at the bottom, first of all, is we received here $20 in the in-kind donations, $35 in specials. Down at the bottom, then we are able to detail that out a little bit further. So we have for our specials, we have $35 to music group. For our in-kind donations, we have the $20 for cans of soup. And we just do it this way because, again, you could have more than one in-kind donation on the same day, or you could have more than one special on the same day. So we would detail all of that out here at the bottom. Okay, as I said before, then when you're done with the donation entry, we just come over here and say entry is complete. And would you like to print the donation information? You would say yes if you're connected to your printer. In my case, I don't want to print it. We'll just say no. And then it tells us the master, that's our main Excel file, has been saved. And we also created a little copy of the donation details and saved it here as a separate Excel file. And that's nothing more than a little electronic backup of what was donated or what was entered on this particular date. I mentioned to you that I keep a paper copy, but I also have this electronic copy, so that if I had to go back, if somehow things got lost and I had to, not lost, but maybe a corruption in the master file and I had to go back and recreate it, I have these paper copies that I could use to re-enter, but that would be a lot of work. The better option is actually to go to the electronic copy, where I can do more of a copy and paste, and that would be a much easier way than to recreate any missing donations. So that's why we keep an electronic copy as well as printing a paper copy. All right, last thing we want to talk about, again, this is one of those optional advanced kinds of things, but I just wanted to talk about the idea of how there are some organizations, again, you might see this more in a non-profit type of an organization, where they receive donations, but just not that many. And so let's presume that that you get maybe 10 donations or 20 donations across the entire month. So we do have another way of entering donations, where you're not doing it 1 week at a time. The week at a time works very well for churches, does not work as well for religious organizations, nonprofit organizations. So we have the option here. Let's go to the parameters, down here to the donation entry. We're going to turn on this thing. Would you like to use the column to override the donation date? We're going to set that to yes. Again, one of the pink ones. So we're going to adjust the tabs. And what that does is that unhides this column right here. And the concept is we can wait till the end of the month and do all of our donations at one time. So for the entire month, we'll just enter everything at one time. And this allows us then row by row by row, donation by donation, to put in a a different date on each row. So let's show you what that would look like. All right, so let's say we're going to do this for the month of June. So you can put in, and the software is not going to care if you do the first day of the month or the last day of the month. Doesn't really matter. It can be the middle of the month if you want to consistently do it as the 15th of the month. As long as it's part of the month, doesn't really matter. Just put in any date there, and then we're going to go down through and do our donations. So let's do Mackenzie, and she gave $100, and I passed right over it. And so this was this particular date that she donated was on the 8th. So we'll enter June 8th as a donation date, and then the category she wanted to distribute it to. Let's do another one. So this is Natalie, and she gave $50 on the 16th. Let's do another one. How about Emmy Shaw? And Emmy's donation was $75 on the 31st. And she wanted it split across all three: general missions and charity. So that's the idea, where you can wait till the end of the month, do all of your donations for that month. Do all of your donations for that month. That looks better, sorry. The 30th, not the 31st. Sorry. But do all of your donations at one time for the entire month. So that's kind of the concept. And again, this works very well for the nonprofits, but also you can use this if you want to separate your cash and check donations from your electronic donations. So actually, we do that at our church, where we do our cash and checks each week, and then we just wait and put in the electronic stuff separately and kind of do that all at once. And this technique of using the override date would also work very well for that. So rather than having to log into my online donation system each week and get all that information, I'm just going to wait till the end of the month and do it all at one time. And so the override the donation date, that particular option, is what makes this easy to do. So each donation can have a separate date. Okay, those are the things I wanted to cover regarding entering donations. Hopefully, again, you see just how quick and easy that can be. And I will look forward to working with you again in later time on a different video. Thank you.